strength-based outlook. First, I want this to hit home with you guys first before I start talking about this point. So I want to start with the golden rule. So we all know the golden rule, right? Do unto others what you would have them do to you. And so I know for me, the most dreaded interview question is, what are your 3 greatest weaknesses, right? I spend time thinking about that question a lot before I go and thinking, oh, what are they going to think if I say this? And oh, they're not going to want me in this position if I share this. And so it's vulnerable, right? And it's scary. So that's personally my least favorite question, right? And so what I want you to imagine is you walk into an interview, right? And you talk about your weaknesses the whole time. That would not be very fun, right? You probably wouldn't like that position or opportunity, and you'd feel discouraged walking out, right? And sometimes this is how our IEP meetings or how we're interacting with the parent, that's how they feel, right? It feels like you're just constantly talking about the weaknesses, constantly drilling with the weaknesses. So if we don't want that in our interviews, why should we be doing that to others, right? The golden rule, that's where that comes in. And then again, a job review. I've heard many horror stories, and Melinda actually just told me one the other day about job reviews where you walk in and for an hour or 2 hours, in Melinda's case, they just talk about the weaknesses. How terrible is that, right? You come out feeling like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't even work here. I can't do anything here. And it's not encouraging. You don't want to improve almost. It's just like disheartening. So again, I just wanted to point that out so that you can see why this is so important, why the strength-based outlook is so important, why we're looking for this. Okay, first I want to point out this picture on the slide. I actually took words from one of the studies that the parents used to describe their children and compiled them all in this picture. So that is an image of student strengths with disabilities, so I thought that was kind of cool. But something that I think is incredibly sad is that students with disabilities don't recognize their strengths. This first study that I have up here, students filled out this inventory of strengths, and they rated themselves lower than average on all characteristics. Now, of course, it's expected for some characteristics that they would have lower scores, maybe because of the disability, maybe just because of their personality, who they are. You know, everyone has characteristics that wouldn't be their strengths, but it's not expected at all that they wouldn't have any strengths. So that's really sad, you know, that they're not recognizing what their strengths are. And contrasting that with the next study, parents filled out this survey about their children, the assessment scale for positive character traits, and 97% of the students had at least 5 character traits, and the median number was 20. So contrasting that with, you know, the students who gave themselves none, and then we have a median number of 20 strengths. That's a huge difference. Students definitely have these strengths. It's just that they're not recognizing them. We are